some of you know about this school is Saat in Malang, and for the name in English is Southeast Asia Bible Seminary. So I'm thankful that I have this opportunity to share about God's Word with all of you. And to preach in English is not a thing that I can do it very easily compared to when I preach in Indonesian, because I haven't been using this language since 2010, since I came back from US for study and then I came back for teaching. Since then I seldom speak with this language, so please bear with me with my broken English, yeah. And I hope you can understand what I explain and what I talk with you for this morning. So today we are going to learn from Amos chapter 2, verse 6 to 8. Amos chapter 2, verse 6 to 8. Amos chapter 2, verse 6 to 8. I'm going to read these verses. So Amos chapter 2, verse 6 to 8. This is what the Lord says: for 3 sins of Israel, even for 4, I will not turn back my wrath. They sell the righteous for silver and the needy for a pair of sandals. They trample on the heads of the poor as upon the dust of the ground, and deny justice to the oppressed. Father and son use the same girl, and so profane my holy name. They lie down beside every altar on garments taken in pledge in the house of their God, and they drink wine taken as wines. So for those who are the congregation in this church, you have been learning about the book of Amos since the beginning of this year, and you have learned from this book about the judgment from what Amos said to the nation surrounding Israel. And then today we are going to learn from what the Lord God said through Amos, what he said to the people of Israel. So for the guests, this congregation, jemaat ini sudah belajar kitab Amos, ya, mulai dari pasal yang pertama sampai pasal kedua ayat yang ke-6 ini. So from the verses that we just read from these 3 verses, we will see that compared to the verses that we already learned since the beginning of this book, we see there's some differences. The first thing, you will see that the verses that Amos said to the people, to the nation surrounding the Israel, the verses is only about 2 to 3 verses. As you read for the when Amos said to the Damascus, it's only from verse 3 to verse 5 in chapter 1, and then to Gaza is only about 3 verses also, and then for 3 verses, and then verse 9 is to Tyre. So we see that it's only 2 to 3 verses. But for the Israel, we will see that it's not only about 2 to 3 verses. We see that it starts from verse 6 until chapter 6. So it's not like 2 or 3 verses, but 4 main chapters. Yeah. So we see that this is a very long what Amos said to the people of Israel. And then for those nations surrounding Israel, we see that when Amos talked with them, it's about how they treat other people, other nations than themselves. But when we look at what Amos said about Israel, it's about how they treat each other as one nation. So we see this is a very different thing. Yeah. So today we are going to learn what Amos said to the people in Israel about what they did to each other as a nation. And verse 6 to 8 is only like an introduction for the whole chapters that talking about the judgment that God will do with Israel. So let us see what happened and make in verse 6 it said that I will not turn back my wrath. So it means that God will do His judgment. He will not turn back. He will not doing what He is going to do, but He will do the judgment to the Israel. What happened? So in verse 6, it said that they sell the righteous for silver. And before that, we need to remember that what happened in these verses is not only a sin of a person. It's not telling about a sin of a person, but it's said telling about a sin of a community, of people, what they are doing. So it's not only one person did this, but the whole nation did this kind of things. So first, it said that they sell the righteous for silver. The righteous in this, it doesn't mean that the righteous is a blamelessness person. It's not a holy person. It's not like that. But this is about in the court setting when a person declared as a righteous person. So in the court, they already said that, okay, this person is in the right position. What would happen? What happened is the people, and then we don't know what they did, but it seems like there's a higher level person who did something to the level person and make those that actually in the right position, make them become guilty. And they can sell this person into slavery. So that's why I said that they sell the righteous for silver, for some other. And then, not only that, but also the needy for a pair of sandals. You know, a pair of sandals is a very cheap. Yeah. So when they said that the needy for a pair of sandals, it means that they sell the poor. And then the price is very low. It's only a pair of sandals. So it gives us a picture how they treat each other, how they treat the poor people, how they look at the poor people as a person with no value. So this is what happened. And then not only that, in verse 7 it said that they trample on the heads of the poor as upon the dust of the ground. So they make the poor in the sad situation, in the bad situation, where it said that as upon the dust of the ground. Dust of the ground, that's a symbolic situation where a person was in the sad situation, in the mourn situation. So they did something to the poor in such situation that make the people become very sad. So this is what happened. And then after that, not only that, father and son used the same girl. So in this part of this verse, some of the commentators said that maybe they practice what the people surrounding them did the practice in their temple. So at that time, the people, the nation surrounding the Israel, they did something like a worship God, but through the prostitution. Because they said that at the time, when they did this, so it will help their flock to have ternak-ternak mereka itu punya bisa berkembang biak. So they thought that through this kind of practice that make them become richer and richer through their flock. So that's the practice. But if we look at the context, it seems like this is not related to how they did the practice in the temple of the foreign gods. It's not like that. But it's more about how they treat the female servant. During that time, servant seems like has no value, and seems like they treat the female servant as belonging. So it belongs to them, so they can treat the servant whatever they want. And then later we will look at the other verses and see that why this is something is very evil, and God said that I will not turn back my wrath. And then after that, it said that they lie down beside every altar on garments taken in pledge. Brother and sister, during that time, when they have a garment, what they said the garment is the outer garment. So this is the garment that they use when they sleep. So the weather in Israel, as we know, the weather in that area during the day is very hot, but during the night is very cold. So the situation at the time is not also like right now. Right now, I think all of us has more than one garment. We have more than one cloth, so we can exchange the clothes every day. But during that time, it's not like that. Especially for the poor people. They only have what they have on their body, and also, especially for the outer garment, is to help them during the night when the temperature is very cold. It helps them to be able to sleep well. So what happened in this verse is said that what they did to those the poor is they take the garment that the poor pledged for asking to borrow some money, and then they put the garment as it said that for the they put on the ground and then they slip on top of that garment. So actually they don't need it, but they just use it like that. And then we'll see why this is an evil thing according to God. And then after that, it said that in the house of their God, they drink wine taken as wines. So at the time, there's wine that are taken as a wine because of the either wrongdoing or the debt the person has. So this is something that they pay. And then these people use that, drink that to just make themselves become happy in the temple, something like that. So from those, all the pictures that we see from verse 6 to 8, actually what we see is the way one person in a higher level, how they treat the other person in a lower level. So here, then we are asking why God see this as a very evil thing. Why? So if we look at the Bible, we will see that this is a very evil thing, because when the human being fall into sin, we always think and act according to what we think is a good thing for us and what is the right thing for us. And then during what we see or through the history, we see that many things that we thought is the right thing actually is not the right thing. And what we act that we thought that this is the right things to do actually is not the right things for us to do also. So in the Bible, we see that when the first thing God and then choose the Israel as His holy nation, we see from the beginning God already give them a commandment, the law. In the law, we will see that it's very different way of thinking, different way of act for the people of Israel to be people that really has become a holy people. So let's read some part in the book of Leviticus and also in the book of Exodus. First, we will see the Exodus chapter 22. Exodus chapter 22. Keluaran 22 ayatnya ke-25 sampai 27. Exodus 22 verse 25 to 27. This is what God told the Israel since the beginning before they entered the Canaan. God said that if you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not be like a money lender. Charge him no interest. Charge him no interest. If you take your neighbor's cloak as a pledge, return it to him by sunset, because his cloak is the only covering he has for his body. What else will he sleep in? When he cries out to me, I will hear, for I am compassionate. So from these verses, what God wants to say to the people of Israel, when you enter the land, what I promised to you, when you live as a nation, remember, there are some of you become the poor. They don't have money. So when they borrow money to you, and you have to give them the money when they are in need. And then when they borrow some money, don't charge them with interest. And then if they give their outer garment as a pledge, because when a person gives their outer garment as a pledge, it means that they don't have other things to give as a pledge for the money that they borrow. So that's the only thing that they have. Right now they want to give it to you. So what you will have to do? What you will have to do is, you have to return it before the sunset. So you shouldn't keep the garment. And then in Amos, we see that these people not only keep the garment and then but put as a mattress for them to lay down. So they don't think about what happened to the poor. What happened when they sleep. And here, God said that because, verse 27, because his cloak is the only covering he has for his body. What else will he sleep in? So, brother and sister, our God is a God who really cares for his people. And look at what will happen with his people. So before this happened, he already gave the law to his people. This is what I want you to practice before you enter into the land. Not only in this part that he mentioned about the poor and how they treat the poor, but also if we look at the Leviticus chapter 25, Leviticus Imamat chapter 25, verse 35 to 38. 35 to 38. God said that if one of your countrymen becomes poor and is unable to support himself among you, help him as you would an alien or a temporary resident. So this is the purpose. So he can continue to live among you. Do not take interest of any kind from him, but fear your God, so that your countrymen may continue to live among you. Once again, to continue to live among you. You must not lend him money at interest or sell him food at a profit. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan and to be your God. So from these verses, it's not just a coincidence or God just said that, okay, I'm the God who bring you out of Canaan, bring you out of Egypt. It's not like he just saying something like that. But it seems like when he did say these things, it's to remind them, remember, when you are in Egypt, you are a slave. And all of you are in the same position. There's no one of you above other person. You are just the same. And you experience the same thing as a slave. You know how it feels to be a slave. You know how it feels to be a person who are in need. So when you enter the land, when you see the people in your nation in need, you have to treat them, you have to help them so they can continue to live in the land. So brother and sister, from these verses, we see that God is the God who cares for his people. And when he helped his people to go out from the slavery, then he gave them the law that helped them to live as his nation. And this morning during the service, it is read about the verse in Deuteronomy 14. Let's read Deuteronomy 14, verse 2. Deuteronomy Ulangan 14, verse 2, it said that, for you are a people holy to the Lord your God. This is what happened to them right now. You are a people holy to the Lord your God. Out of all the peoples on the face of the earth, the Lord has chosen you to be his treasured position. So the Israel, among all the people, at that time, the Lord chose them to be a people holy to God. To be a people holy to God, it means that they have to live according to His rule, according to His law, because they are now His people. To be His people means that you have to live according to His law, what He wants the people to do. So the law is very different from the law of all nations, and they have to live according to that. Brother and sister, maybe we think that, okay, the verses in Amos chapter 2, verse 6 to 8 is something that we never done to other people. We never sell other people. I hope we don't do that right now, yeah, even though I heard that there is a human trafficking, something that's still practiced in the modern time. But especially among the Christians, I think we said that, oh, we never done that. We never sell other people. We never did to do the prostitution, something like that. We said that we never did this kind of things. Okay. But let me ask you to think about deeper about what they practice during that time. So this is not only about selling others, selling a human being. No. It's about how a person treats others. What we see in this setting, we see that in the society, there are some people in the upper level and then some people in the lower level. As a sinful person, what happened for us, we tend to be wanting. Yeah, there's something in us that we want to be above other people. We always want to be in a higher level compared to people surrounding us. Because we thought that if we are in the higher level, there are some privileges that we have. For example, if we are in the upper level, people will look at us. People will know about us. But if we are in the lower level, it seems like nobody will know about us. Maybe my co-worker in the same level, they know about us. But those in the higher position, they will not know about us. So that's why when we work that hard to reach in certain level in the ladder of the career. Because we think that, okay, if we are in that position, we will have some privileges. And as a simple person, usually when we are in the higher level, we will do something to the person in the lower level. We see that since we are in this level, we can treat, seems like that, we can treat others in the lower level. Well, according to us, what we want. Maybe some of you remember what happened, I forgot, past few months or past year, that in the maybe viral in your media, social, that there's a pilot that treat hotel person servant in the hotel that treat. He thinks that since he's a pilot, he can treat others lower than him. Yeah. So that became viral, and then the pilot was dipecat, yeah, because of what his what he did to others. Yeah, he got fired. Yeah. So we look at that and we said that, oh, this person, yeah, he's that kind of person. Shouldn't do like that to other person. But actually, when we look at what practice in the society, we will see many things happen like that. Maybe you remember a case where a daughter of a CEO of one airline company that treat the flight attendants when they flew from one city to another, and then this daughter of CEO of that airline company, and then when the plane is still on the ground, not take off yet, and then the flight attendant served for the nut, and then she thought that since she's in the business class, she asked that the nut is not still in the cover, not in the bag, but served in the place. But actually, the company rule is only served in the bag, not in the cup, something like that. So, and she argued, and then asked the flight attendants to do that things. But the flight attendant said that no, the rule is only like that. Because of that, she forced the pilot to go back to the gate in order the chief of the flight attendants to be dismissed from the plane. Can you imagine? Just only like that, and that make the plane delay for 30 minutes because of that. So the people become angry. How come this person did this to other person? Not only that, but she asked the chief of the flight attendants to beg forgiveness from her. Yeah. So that happened. And maybe when you work, you also see this kind of things happen. How we treat each other, especially when we are in the higher position. We thought that, okay, that's our privilege to get the service from those in the lower level. The question for us is this what the Lord make the way we live during our time in this earth? We know for sure this is not the way. What the Lord wants to say to us is through His word, we will see that He wants us to treat each other in the same level. We treat each other as the same human being. We are just the same. There is no person who is higher than the others. No, we are just the same. So, what God wants us to do is to treat each other as a person. When the person is in need, we look them as the same level that we help them. Out of mercy of God, we treat them. Not because we think that we are in the higher level, we have money. Then we give you money, so you have to treat me in certain things. Or I can do some things to you because you are in the lower level than me. That's not what God wants us to do. He wants us to treat them equally. as the same human being. Not only that, if we look at the New Testament, we will see that Jesus is, in his ministry, is very concerned with the need, very concerned with the people who other people think they are in the lower level or being cast by the society. Jesus is very concerned with them and look at them and minister to them. So from what we learn, from what Jesus did, we know that from the New Testament, we see that God already give us the example. Let us read the Philippians chapter 2. Philippians chapter 2. I heard that in this congregation, you learn the letter of Philippians for this year also. Maybe you already study up to Philippians chapter 2. That I want to remind you what happened in the Philippians chapter 2. In the Philippians chapter 2, we see that this is what Paul said to the Philippians. Among the people of the church, he wants them to learn how to treat each other. He said that in chapter 2, start from verse 1, he said that if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any fellowship with the Spirit, if you have this, comfort from his love, fellowship with the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and purpose. And then verse 3. Do not think out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider, this is what he mentioned to the congregation in Philippians. Consider others better than yourself. Each of you should look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. So the perspective is not only to yourself, not for you only, not for me, for myself, but for the others. And consider for the others is more important than you see not only for yourself, but also what the others need. Because of what? Because, verse 5, your attitude should be the same as that of Christ Jesus. We have that example. Paul said to the people, to the church in Philippians, not because this is something like an idea. No. But this is something that Jesus has done. So that's why, as his people, that's the thing that we should do. What happened? He said that, verse 6, Jesus Christ, who being in very nature God. On the other words, that he is God. He is the creator. And we just a human being created. Did not consider equality with God something to be grasped. He is God. His position, his level above us. But he didn't consider that something to behold. No. What happened? He made himself nothing. We always want to be something. But what Jesus did, he made himself nothing. That's the opposite. That's the thing that we have to learn from Jesus. He made himself nothing. This is something that is not easy for us to make ourselves nothing. Because we already filled with God, so we don't consider to be something above people as something that we want to reach out. No. We have been filled by Him. So what happened right now? We look to each other. We look to other people. We said that I want to help you. I want to serve you. That should be happen to us. Taking a very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross. He is willing to sacrifice to human beings who are his creation, not in the same level as him, in a lower level, but he's willing to die for us. Brother and sister, in our lives as a holy nation of God, we have been God's people for so many years. The question for us, how we treat each other, how we look at each other. Do we look each other as same human being and we treat them? Not because we have more than them that we treat them as a lower person, but we know if we have more, that's because of God's grace upon our lives. And that's because God gives us more so we can give to others, help others, and how we serve each other in the congregation. Not only that, but also how we treat other people out of the church. Can they see that this is very different way of living among Christians and for those out of the church? I have a helper who helped me once a week in my place. This helper always said to me that I'm so blessed because I help 3 Christians. So right now he works in the 3 Christian homes. He said that I'm so blessed because the way those Christians treat me is very different way from those the people who I worked before who are not Christian. And then she said that like this. Sometimes I tell my people around me, she still live in her house and in her village. So she said that sometimes I told them, this is the way, for example, when they give me the salary. This is the way they give me the salary. Give the money to me. How they treat me. Brother and sister, I never think about when I give her the salary, this way, it makes her become, oh, this is how you treat other people. I just think about this way that we should treat each other, even when you give the salary. Because he said that for some people where I work, when they give you the salary, they just throw the salary. not even look at you. He said, oh, that happened. Yeah, that happened to me. So brother and sister, even that small thing, the people will see how you treat each other, how you treat other person, how you help them. When they cannot do some things, can we help them? Even though they are our helper, why don't we treat them and help them? Treat them as what the Bible said. Love your neighbors as yourself. We want others to love us. We want others to look at us in the same level. We want others to help us. Let us also treat them and help them, serve them. May God be glorified through the way we treat each other, through the way we treat people outside of this church. Let's pray.